to the, oh, you can hear me better now, so I don't need to be shouting. And I can have this very monotone type of tone throughout the session, so you will start to fade away. No, no, we'll try to make it active. Okay, yeah, I don't know if, yeah, indeed, they need to give me this access. All right, so it works perfectly. So welcome, and welcome everyone to this last workshop, and thank you, of course, to the FORTHEM Alliance or organization to invite me to give this last and very important workshop. So the first thing we're going to be talking about valorization and commercialization of research results. Any of you working actively in innovation management or technology transfer in a TTO or whatnot, can you raise your hands? Okay, many of you, wonderful. So the idea of this workshop is, as every workshop I give, is to be very practical, and we will try to make it so it works for you. Because in my day-to-day job, it's not my job to give lectures. I am not a lecturer. I'm a consultant. And in the end, in my day-to-day, in my daily basis, my main objective is to try to shrink the amount of time I invest into doing things. So I can get the same result, but with less time. That's pretty much what consultants do. And I think that is why many institutions usually and companies ask for this sort of lectures or workshops, because in the end is how can I invest the minimum amount of time to get the maximum amount of results. Okay, that will be the main topic of this lecture or workshop. So the thing or the way we're going to be focusing this is I will be showing you some things, and then I will be doing them in the databases or the tools that we're going to be using. If you're comfortable or you have your own laptop and you want to follow along, feel very welcome to do so. It's going to be fast because we don't have much time, and since today we just had 2 hours, that might look like a lot for the time being, but usually these lectures are like 9, 12 hours, not in the same day, but usually are much longer. I preferred to give you pretty much all the tools I covered throughout 9 or 10 or 12 hours in this very short meeting, so at least you have the tools, because many of you might not see me again in probably ever, or perhaps in some time. So at least you know the tools and you can start working with them. And it happens with many of the tools. Every tool I'm going to be showing you is either free or have a freemium plan in which you can use quite intensively without having to pay. Because, you know, as you know, sometimes you go to this sort of AI lecture or whatever, and then they try to sell you a subscription model, and you're like, yeah, but I'm a public institution, I cannot do that, so I won't be using that tool. I am going to be using just free tools or things that you can access freely, okay? And I am going to be showing them relatively fast, but explaining them quite deeply. So if there's things that you don't get or you think I could explain again, please let me know, because if not, I will just start, and you know, since this is not like the typical workshop setting, it will be a bit more difficult to be doing exercises and so on. I have some exercises though, but let's move. So first of all, I want to introduce what we do, mainly to legitimize why I'm giving this lecture to you. I'm not a random person, I do work with this quite a lot. And so I am co-founder of a company named Biromi. We actually founded the company in Sweden 8 years ago, and we moved quite quickly due to weather reasons to Spain, mainly to Valencia, and I started over here, mainly doing what we say like valorization and technology transfer, technology results, commercialization, everything that has to do with taking a research result and helping it go to the market. Okay. We also work a lot with business development in early spin-off companies and technology-based companies. And yeah, so we're 17 people now in the team. All of the team has a technical background. Myself, I'm a biotechnologist, but I have a specialization in intellectual property and an MBA. So that's the type of person that we usually hire for Viromi. We started a lot working with biotechnology and healthcare at the beginning, but as we expanded, we started also working with material science, engineering, software, AI, fusion, fission, energy, like combustion energy. And this way, as you know, in the past years, everything related to technology transfer, dissemination of results, and everything has had a big boom, I would say, and a lot of attention. So that's why we started working with more and more institutions. We work with over 160 companies and institutions, mainly in Spain, some in Europe, some in the US, but mainly in Spain so far, and of course many in Sweden as well. And mainly we either work directly with technology transfer offices or the research groups. This is something we do when they have like specific funding for hiring these sort of services. So until now we have the brief what's it called? Yeah, so all the advertising is over now. Now we start with the actual content of the lecture. So we're going to be breaking this into a bit more of an, I would say, theoretical background, or how we approach technology transfer, and what do we understand about technology transfer, how we see technology transfer, because it's not a standardized term, and in the end everyone uses the term technology transfer as they want. So in our sense, technology transfer will be the preparation and the commercialization phases of when you have a research result and want to put it in the market, pretty much. Okay, that's for us, and that's how we understand and interpret technology transfer. So the first thing we like to explain in these lectures is the innovation pathway, or how we understand the whole process, which are the roles of who, and the times for this. So the first thing, of course, everything starts with the research and development and a research result. When the researchers or the research group have one research result and they communicate the research result to the technology transfer unit. Okay, that's usually where it starts for us. We have a transferable asset, a transferable research result, and it usually starts after some applied research, in which the most important part is how the researchers communicate this result to the TTO. This is very important. That's why we separated them. We have like innovation and tech transfer activities, and then we have the research and development team. It is important because in technology transfer, if those teams are not fully aligned, the technology transfer won't be happening, at least in our experience. You may have the most active in technology transfer research and development team, or researcher or research group or whatever. If the TTO or the technology transfer innovation team of the university, research center or whatever is not putting the work or is not paying attention to this, technology transfer will be very difficult to be happening. Similarly, if we have a very active, very experienced technology transfer team, but the research and development team or the research group is not putting their part, the technology transfer rarely will happen. Okay, so we have to be very well aligned, and we have to understand the roles of each. We usually take the role of the technology transfer team. We are a support agency for TTOs and technology transfer offices. And this all starts with this communication. So we sometimes give specific lectures for the communication of results because this is important. This is the first time the research group is going to be talking with the with the TTO regarding a result, and we want to extract all relevant market information from that exchange. So usually here we have to ask about application areas, value, ownership, and which development stage we are, which development stages are we covering in the foreseeable future, funding, all these parts that will actually make things much easier for us, okay? And when we receive that, depending on the university, depending on the center, we start a pre-evaluation phase. The pre-evaluation happens when we receive the communication of the result, and we have to see if this has potential for the market. If we are in a hurry, we have to justify a European grant, or we have to be working because for example, the patent is going to be expiring soon or whatever. So here we will put them in order and start working with them. After that, we do what we call the valorization phase. And valorization is very easy, or at least the way we understand, is putting into a commercial context the research. This research has been created in a research and development context, in a scientific context. Now we have to take that research and try to see what is the market around that research, which kind of quantify the market, start preparing commercial dossiers, start doing everything that will help us during the transfer phase. Here we will have also the IPN protection, the IPN protection part, and all that is relevant to organize the transfer phase. Okay. Here, a very important phase is the definition of the technology transfer objectives, and we will have a specific part for that, because sometimes we just think about the technology transfer as licensing a patent to a potential company, but technology transfer can be much more. So we have to know what are we actually aiming for. Then the research, then we will start with the transference. The transference or the transfer part will be mainly the commercialization of the result. Identifying and contacting companies to see if they want to meet, explain it to them, and try to find ways to collaborate, license, or exploit the research that we are trying to put in value, okay? For this part, the research and development team is very important, because since we are going to be contacting companies all the time, we're going to be creating meetings. In all the meetings, it's always good to be someone from the research and development team. If we don't have them, it's going to be a bit more difficult to talk in detail about the technology and so on. So when we talk regarding technology transfer to research groups, we always tell them that this process will demand them at least 1.5 to 2 hours per week on average. If they cannot invest that amount of time, the transfer is going to be very difficult, because we will be meeting companies, we will be signing agreements, we will be reviewing drafts, we will be preparing responses, and many of them will rely on the swiftness and speed of the research team. So this is something that we always ask. Are you willing to invest on average 1 hour or 1.5 hours into this? Because if not, it's going to be very hard. And also, we usually ask for one responsible person for technology transfer in the team, because it might be a big team of 10, 12, 15 people, in which we have one IP or two co-IPs, PIs, sorry, in English, one or two PIs, or different institutions that are involved, and we want to know who is going to mandatorily be in the meetings with the companies. And this is important, because if we have 11 people in the research team, and we are setting up a meeting with Philips, it's going to be very hard if we have to arrange 11 people for that meeting rather than 1 or perhaps 2. So that's another thing we always try to manage beforehand. So during the transfer part, we are going to mainly be identifying companies, contacting them, looking for the right persons of contact, and this will be mainly what we are going to be covering in the session. Okay, and after all these parts, we are going to be arranging all these meetings, doing all the contractual management regarding secrecy for the different interviews and meetings we're going to be having, and we are going to be in very deep coordination with the research group or the research team. If this coordination is not happening, it's going to be very hard. After the contacts and meetings, then we will have all the legal, juridical, all that part that is more of drafting different agreements and so on, testing, the economic valorization, and then all the follow-ups and everything. This is important because many times, at the very beginning, when we receive the technology or the research result, the people ask for an economic valorization. And which sometimes, because an economic valorization can be difficult to get, very expensive, and you want to make it very specific for a specific case, because if not, you have just wet paper, as we call it here. You have a valorization that won't be actionable. So unless you have a very specific use case in a very specific company, we don't usually recommend doing early economic valorizations unless they are very generic, okay, unless they are not taking you a lot of time, because these can take quite a lot of time and money, and you don't want to have it, you don't want to be doing this unless you know to who are you going to sell the technology. And yeah, what we ask for the research team is mainly formality and agility when replying the emails and when scheduling the different calls. I believe we can, because I see many people taking pictures, and I think we can send you this presentation, right? So you can have it. Is that good? Okay. So you so I don't see you like taking pictures all the time, which is fine. Eh? You can take all the pictures you want. Not of me. I'm sorry. I'm joking. So yeah, this is the first the framework in which we are going to be moving. We mainly work in this part, in the green part, and we are going to mainly talk about identification of companies, different tools for retrieving very fast market data, which are for free, and we're also we are going to be finding the relevant people, or where to find the relevant people of technological companies for when you are doing the technology transfer process. Okay, so the first and most important part is, what is the objective that you have for tech transfer? I mean, when a research group comes with a research result or an idea or a patent or whatever, and they say, I think this could be very interesting for the market. Let's start the technology transfer process. The first question must be, okay, what's your objective? What do you need? Why is this technology transfer relevant for you? What are you trying to achieve? Because many of them think that they are going to, or the best outcome would be a license, right? Licensing with a potential company. And this is at least what we get all the time. It's like, I'd like to license this to a company. But do you really, is your technology really ready for a license? Because perhaps it's not even close. And perhaps what you're trying to do now is to, for example, of course this is the first thing that they come to mind, but perhaps you're looking for a collaborator because your TRL is too low right now. No one is going to be licensing this for at least for an amount of money that is relevant, because you might be giving it away pretty much for free, because there is so much risk in the development of this that no one is going to be paying an actual amount that is relevant for the institution or your group. So perhaps we're looking for collaborations and co-developments that will make your group a bit closer to the industry and closer to the market. Or perhaps we are looking for companies that join us in consortia for European projects or regional or national projects that might require having companies backing you up. Or perhaps you want to do a demonstrator. You want to try your technology in a real scenario, and you want it to be tested against what the market is going to be testing it. Sometimes you want the technology as a display of what you can really do in your group, and then you try to sell services, which is a bit easier than doing licenses. Or perhaps you just want feedback. This happens pretty much all the time. That what researchers are looking for here is reality, is knowing if what they have been working on have actual sense for the market. And companies are ruthless here. They are going to tell you specifically what is failing, what is best for them, what is working, where do they see the problems, if the problems are in the industrialization, in the scale up, in wherever. They usually are very open to collaborate and give feedback for this. But for this, for getting good feedback or getting all this, it's very important to know which is the profile, the company profile you are going to be contacting, which is what we are going to be looking at right now, and to identify the relevant person within that company that will give you feedback, because that happens mainly in big companies. When we are trying to approach companies like with over 1,000 employees or 1,500 employees that have so many departments, so many people that have the business development or licensing or innovation in their title, and then you don't really know whom you have to ask. So this will also be one of the parts we are going to be checking today. So, of course, we have main objectives, then we have secondary objectives. I don't want to be boring you, but perhaps we want to promote other lines. We have other objectives here. Since I'm going to be sending you the presentation, you can just have a look at this. And we are moving now to the technology transfer tools. Of course, we have first identified as we saw, the roles and the objective. Now we are going to prepare the communication material. The communication material can be in any shape and form you want. I will go back later. So we have, for example, this is for a technology center, for all the capabilities they have in a technology center. These, for example, are for individual technologies that are in low TRLs. These are for spin-off companies, which are much more visual with a much more precise and specific value proposition. All these things will depend on your objective and on the time you have for actually investing in the preparation of these sort of materials. So it is very important to have at least something to send to the companies. At least a one-pager, and usually the longest, the worst. You want something short, and think about the companies as if they were small childs, okay? Or you need to keep their attention all the time. Very long email, lost. Very long deck, lost. You want to be very specific, very short, with lots of images, with everything must be very visual, because we can't forget that when we're contacting a company, we're getting them, we are sending them an offer of something that is very difficult to first understand because it is a new technology. Second, very difficult to develop. It's going to be taking them time and resources, people, equipment, facilities, infrastructure. So we are asking them a lot. So we have to go step by step. This is going to be very simple, very easy technology to understand. You can very easily fit it in your process. That's the message we have to be sending all the time. So, of course, if we're contacting in Spain, we can do it in Spanish, or if you're doing it in your own country, you can do it in your own language. But I recommend doing them in English. It's the easiest and fastest way, unless you just want the Spanish market. But either way, usually in the technology in technology systems, usually English is fine. So don't do it twice. Of course, you can create a dossier of a technology result, but also of a department, of the capabilities of the center, of the technology transfer resources you have. You can do, in the end, this is just a display of what you can do. And this has been usually the way we have we perform these dossiers went from spending around 3 to 4 hours reading and putting it together, creating different templates for each, to 5 to 10 minutes in the way I am going to be showing you using AI now, these LLMs. This is way easier, but you have to be very specific so AI don't start hallucinating or inventing things up, which happens a lot. So we will go back to that fast. So the following information is what we recommend to include. We don't have to go very deep in each part. Do you have a question? No. Oh, okay, it was a bit stretch. All right. So, of course, the title, we like to start with the problem. What is the challenge of the problem of the market? After that, we will go for a detailed description of what we have found. Of course, non-confidential information here, please. We are going to be sending it all over. The benefits versus the state of the art. I mean, why is this better? Sometimes we get here lost because we see that the state of the art, when we do a very very small analysis, we can see that the state of the art is actually better than we have developed, and that happens way more times than we would like to admit. The development status, of course, and the next steps, and who is going to be finding these next steps. Every single image, picture, scheme we have to put it here. Renders, tables, graphs, everything we have to put it. We have to put it. Of course, who invented this and the institution behind. The purpose of the contact, or what we say, the objective of the collaboration. Why? What are we looking for? We try to make this as open as possible, because usually researchers, or at least the research groups we work with, are usually happy with whatever outcome as far as the company is interested. You know, usually we are very easy in that sense. And of course, the contact information. So this, I will show you then a bit later in the part of AI tools, some tools to visualize, some tools to actually work with this very fast. So yeah, this is the different examples we have. And now we have to identify the correct profiles, the company profiles we're going to be contacting, okay? This can be done mainly using a tool, what is called the value chain, or it's a methodology of work called the value chain, in which we will differentiate all the different changes of a technology and the different actors that take part in these changes, and then we will try to map where is our technology in all these phases and attack these companies. Okay, that's the easiest way. But yeah, we have to understand that, for example, suppliers like suppliers or distributors sometimes commercialize, but they don't develop. So you might be in contact with many distributors, but you don't understand that there is a big difference, or the industrializers and the companies that are more into research and development are very different types of companies. So we just have to understand that. And it's very easy, very straightforward. So in the end, what I'm going to be showing you is it's more like a framework or a roadmap of work, or way of thinking when approaching this sort of technology transfer processes in a smart and, I would say, fast way. So you can always use the same roadmap for each kind of technology. Of course, if we're talking about a very highly regulated sector like nuclear, medical, automotion, we will have to take regulatory in mind, but other than that, it's going to be the same, though it will be a bit more difficult to transfer it. So for this, we're going to be using the value chain, and we will map our solution in that value chain, so we can see competitors, collaborators, and clients clearly. And since many of you sometimes have your own research group and work on research, ask me what this is relevant for. This, if you put it in a competitive proposal, for example, for a European grant or whatever, knowing how to properly map your value chain is very valuable, because it will tell immediately that you understand very well the ecosystem, the commercial ecosystem for your technology. Okay, it's a visualization tool that actually will help you communicate that you understand not just the science, but also the market, the different actors and how they relate about. So here are about a couple of examples of value chains. This is a bit more complex one. This is mainly for chemical. This is for the recycling of some sort of plastic, and the different actors. So we have the processing companies, like for the recycling, we have processing companies. Then we have plastic producers. use industrial users, industrial users that are consumers of the plastics, then all the picking up and sorting of the residues, and then the different types of recycling we have, and where is specifically our technology, which would be mainly this and this. Okay, so we can see immediately after who is working and immediately before. And usually these will be, depending on the type of transfer we're looking for, if we're creating a spin-off company or if we are looking for a license, these will be the potential users or targets for a technology transfer intervention. Okay, and this is a very straightforward, very simple value chain for a medical product, where we have research and development companies, like research-focused institutions and companies. We have development companies, the ones that will develop and certify medically the result. Then we have the distributors that don't have anything to do with this, the hospital and the patient. And usually you want to focus, if you're creating a spin-off company, many of these will be your competitors, these will be your potential collaborators, and these will be your clients. But if you are not creating a spin-off company, these will be your potential licensees, these will be your collaborators, and these will be like prescriptors of your technology. So you have to understand that depending on your objective, these different actors, their role towards you will also change. So usually the generic value chain is like this. You can fit pretty much every technological development in a value chain like this. And of course, you just have to find the different actors and classify them here. But this is the easiest and most straightforward way of creating a value chain, because creating value chains is not something easy sometimes. So I prefer to give you just a specific template that you can fill in 90% of the cases, and it will be enough for you at least to understand the difference and the different actors that there are. As you see here, we put, because not all actors work in just one in one point of the value chain. Some work in many of them at the same time. So this way you can just map them using these lines, for example. Okay. So why is this important? This is a specific example that happened to us some years ago. This was for the University of Murcia, I remember. And they have developed chemical building blocks for drug development. So this arrives to you, and automatically you think, okay, let's offer this to pharmaceutical companies and companies that do drug development, right? Because in the end, they are going to be using this sort of building blocks for this. And then you start identifying companies, and you contact the companies, and no company is interested, or they don't even reply to you, which is the main thing that happens when you are contacting companies that are not target for your research. They were not answering, but we thought, okay, but this technology is quite promising. This is very strange. So we started doing a bit of a digging in the field, and we saw that they were specific companies way behind, chemical companies that just do compound libraries and building block libraries. And when we started contacting this, we arrived to a license, and everything was very straightforward, and they have a very specific methodology, and they were quite used to collaborate with mainly chemical research groups. So in the end, these sort of value chains don't take much time to do, more now with the AI tools. Many of the value chains are already mapped. You can search for whatever you're looking for value chain on Google, and many of the value chains are already mapped, and will make your technology transfer procedures or work way easier to understand it. Okay, so similarly here, sometimes we receive a technology and a new antibody for the detection of hormones in biologic fluids. And then you say, okay, so let's find this is detection of hormones, so let's see antibody companies for antibody design and production. But you can also contact big pharmas, specific departments for hormone detection. You can find research kits for detection. You can find companies developing diagnostic kits. So this, what we're trying to communicate with these slides is that sometimes we, or the research group, might communicate a potential need in a very specific industry, but when you see the technology, you might find 6 or 7 different company profiles that might be worth knocking on the door, okay? So let's not stop ourselves from looking for new different profiles, because sometimes it's not the most obvious one that is interested in a developing technology. Okay, so far so good. Yeah, let's go for identification of companies, okay? As you see, everything here is a funnel. So we start with a very more of a theoretical background on how we understand the roles and everything. We develop some materials, we try to find company profiles, but now we're going to start looking for actual companies. And I know that nowadays many of you will be using AI tools to just find me companies in the field of whatever, and then the AI will comply, right? Because they always comply. But sometimes these companies will be far from being the best for this. So I am going to be showing you some tools that are free for you, and they pack quite a lot of power for this. So I am going to show you how to use them properly, okay? So here are some strategies for identifying companies. You can find in innovation projects, in journals and whatnot, in fairs and conferences. This is a pretty good one if you are very active going to fairs and conferences and all these sort of congresses. But mainly we're going to be seeing lens.org or org. Do you usually use this? Have you heard of? Okay, we are going to be having a look at this. This is not the Google Lens, it's a different lens, okay? Because some of you might think, okay, this is Google Lens. No. And we will have a look at market studies, and we are going to be using AI-based tools to extract a lot of information from this. Because AI-based tools work best when you give them the source. And this is what we are going to be doing. So let's start with Lens, and as I said before, the way we are going to be doing this is I'm going to enter. I will enter mainly in. Okay, I am not going to be registering. Okay, so you can do this exactly the same. So you see that I don't need to be logged in or whatever, or I'm not paying for the service or whatever. Okay, so. And now, since I can't see both screens, I'm going to be duplicating. Give me a second, sorry. And duplicate. Yeah. Okay. So we'll see the same. Okay. So Lens is this is a company or a web page. It's a database that will give us mainly 2 things. 1, patented results, and 2, publications, scientific publications. So we will be using patents for searching for companies, mainly, and we'll be using the publication for searching for research facilities and research infrastructures. And these both work great. And I will be showing you, because this is not just a regular database in which you will have a list of patents, but it incorporates an analysis tool. And usually patent analysis tools are very, very, very expensive. Like, I just know this, which is the free one, and the next one, which is, for example, PatSnap or these sort of tools, then you're going to over 10,000 euros per year per license for the cheapest versions. So let's have a look. So the first thing, this is a complex tool to be using. It's fully free, and the things I'm going to be showing you are mainly not in the slides. So now is where I encourage you to be taking some notes, because I am going to be showing you how to use this so we can avoid the noise it will generate in the searches, which is the main problem we will have in this. This is a very powerful database that if we don't do a very specific searches, it will generate a lot of noise. You know what noise means. It will generate false results due to the vast amount of research of results it will be giving us. And I'm going to be showing you one example. So the first thing that that I'm going to be showing you is that we never search here. This search bar they put is a trap. This is a trap, the noise trap. Every search we do here is going to be shitty. I don't really recommend using this, and I will show you how. So let's do a very simple search. I put here optical microscope for the patent category. It will verify that I am a human. Apparently I am. Nice. Okay, the VPN is disconnected. And it's giving us over 600,000 results for optical microscope. Bear that in mind, over 600,000 results. So your people who work in universities, very structured people, right? So let's do always a structured search. Always. Always a structured search. If we search here, doesn't work. So we do the structured search, and we are just going to tweak one parameter here, just one. In field, we will change to title, abstract, or claims. You understand or know something about patents? I understand, I believe so. Title, abstract, and claims is the content of the patent, like the actual thing that is being protected or covered by the patent. So just changing that little thing will make all the searches look way better, much more precise. And we are going to be doing the exact same search, but this time we will just use the this thing. How do you call this in English? The quotes, quotation mark, indeed, yeah, the quotation mark, and do the same thing. Do you remember how many research results like patent results we had in the previous search? 639,000, I believe. If we do now this search, you will see that we just get 10,000 patents. So over 95% of the results that we had in the previous search were noise, because we were not doing properly the search. This is the main enemy we will have when using Lens. And it can be fixed very easily. That's my only objective today, because after that, once you enter into Lens now or in 6 months, you will remember, because it's very easy. It's very simple, the steps I am going to be showing you. And it's important because now I can show you the actual tool. So we have here the different filters that we can be using to tweak the, to make more or less precise the search. Here we have the list of patents that it identified based, you know, it's arranged in a way that makes sense for your search, but the most important part, at least for me, in this is this tab of analysis we have here. I believe in the presentation, give me a second, let's see. Okay, it's not working. Yeah, so I believe in the presentation, yeah, in the presentation I put that this is for scholars, but it works the same. So you have the different parts separated, and this is at least in the presentation. Okay, but I want to be showing you this. So we come to analysis, and in analysis, what is going to do, the tool, is to take these 10,000 patents and extract the relevant data and put them in a visual way. So we can see, for example, and here you can download the data, tweak the visualization chart or whatever, but this way we can see, for example, the investment that this specific technology field have been receiving regarding R&D, because in the end, patents are a market for a marker of research investment. The research and the main, like, if you put money into a research and development process, as a company, usually you want to come up with something patentable if you're going to that market. And this is a way of seeing in a very easily traceable way how the innovation market or the financial market in that very specific research field have been evolving in the past years. This doesn't mean that the market have cracked. This means that we have 18 months of secrecy in many, like on non-publication in many patents. Some patents take over 18 months since the presentation. So we might be seeing a slight delay of 2 years in this graph. But you can see how it has been evolving in the last years. And here, for example, you can tweak the published date and go for the past 20 years instead. And today's 28, and then you just change that, and you can have the last 20 years of developments, of investment trend in this specific research development. But here we have the main companies. This is what we are here for. I like to put them in a bar chart, and I can put over, like up to 1,000. I won't put 1,000 because it's too many, but here we have all the companies that are patenting in that very specific field. And this will give us the first list of companies that we have to look for, because if we have a patented invention, the logical thing to do, if we are trying to transfer this invention, is to find companies that patent in the field. Because if they don't patent anything, they won't be that interested in a patent, because they won't be trusting the patent system. That's an example. But also, if we don't even have a patent, we want to be looking for these companies because these companies have active research and development in that specific field. And here we have some companies that you may be knowing, and also some institutions. But for example, we have Hitachi High-Tech, we have Olympus, FEI, we have Samsung Electronics, Canon, okay, Geol. All these, if you have worked minimally in microscopy, at least they will ring a bell. So later I will show you what can we do with these companies. Now I'm just showing you the tool. Patent documents by jurisdiction. So I don't quite like that much this. I usually put it in a pie chart, but even patent markets are always the same. In pretty much every type of technology development, we will have US, worldwide patents like PCT extensions. Then we will have China, Europe, and then the plethora of developed countries such as Canada, Korea, Japan, whatnot. And this is always the same. So here we have United States. These are PCTs, like PCT extended patents. China, Europe, Japan, Korea, Taiwan in this case. But as you can see, I mean, this graph will always be pretty much the same. If we look for later, we can do other different examples so you can see. But since pretty much it's always the same, I don't usually take much attention to it. Other thing is that I am approaching national phases, and I need to know where to extend my patent because I am going to be licensing it to Hitachi. Then I will just click here on Hitachi and see where are they extending their patents. This way, it will be easier for me to know that I have to be going to the US, Japan, to the US and Japan, because that will be pretty much the 64 plus over the 80% of their patents will be in these two countries. Okay, but that's a bit more advanced. This is just to show you how can we be using this. This is a way of seeing a thread, and you can follow that thread all long you want. Okay, you following me now? Are we good? I know it's a bad time. You good? The coffee is kicking in. Still with me? Okay. I don't have to stare at anyone that is falling asleep so far. So that's good. Great news. So important stuff. CPC classification codes. Do you know what CPC classification codes are? Okay. This looks boring. Okay? I know. And it is boring. But I'm going to show you why are they important. Patents are hard to navigate. They are very technical documents with very technical titles, and sometimes we will receive technologies that we don't know quite much keywords to or search parameters that we can use. So the CPCs, I think it's from 2008 or 8 or something like that, every patent must include CPCs. These are classificators. They must be classified, and your country's patent office will be classifying it for you. So this is the way of finding and reducing noise in very specific searches. For example, imagine that I am working on illumination of specimens for microscopy. I am not developing a new full optical microscope. I am just working on the illumination means. So you can come here and select means for illuminating a species in microscopes. As you see, the classificators, they go very deep. They are very, very, very specific. And that's an advantage for us, because sometimes we don't know the keywords. So we can do very specific searches of things that have been already classified and just open the right drawer. You get me? This is very important because it will help us a lot to reduce noise. Because perhaps here, for example, here we're seeing microscopic image, but we are also seeing structural properties, measuring thickness, line, widths, whatever. Optical details, image related to the camera or image sensor. Control or image processing arrangements. Perhaps we are working on this, and we are not really that interested in illuminating specimens. So we come here, and in this little funnel, we can filter this search with this classificator, or just do a whole new search of that specific classificator. Let's open the whole drawer and see what's inside, okay? Let's do it to see what I mean. So you do this specific, one thing I didn't mention of Lens. In Lens we have these links, and if I send you this link, you can open it, and it's the link to that specific search. It's not cookie dependent, it's not your profile dependent or whatever. You can open it, anyone here can open it, and will have the exact same result. Which is important because sometimes you send links that are cookie dependent, you open them, and you have a different result. But here you can just copy and paste this in your notebook or wherever, and you will always have that specific search result. So we come here, we have the CPC, and we see that some companies changed, and now we have Leica, we have Carl Zeiss, for example, that we didn't have before. Hamamatsu, Sony, Nikon, the profile completely changed, and that's because we found a more specific way of finding what we were looking for, which is automatization or image processing or whatever related to microscopy. Okay. Here, as you can see, this might be a bit distortion because optical microscopy is very dependent on Japanese technology, like historically. So we might be having Japan and perhaps Europe, which are the main producers of this sort of instrumentation, a bit more represented here. But we'll have the US, European PCT extensions, China, European patents, so far the same, and then we have Germany and Japan, which are the main, I would say, tractor heads for this specific market. Here, as you can see, you can have many CPCs in the same patent, but we will see now in the heat map that mainly all the results are, because they must be in the one that we have selected before. Bear in mind this CPC because later with AI, you will see the potential that it has. We can do application area analysis of this whole classificator and ask the AI to do the application area analysis to see where are the different technologies being mapped within that specific field. We will see that later with a specific AI tool that I have it here, which is completely free as well. So you don't have to be using like the free version of Gemini or the free version of ChatGPT because they suck and you don't really need to be using those because those are tools made to be paid for. But we will see the AI part later, okay? Then we have the other classificator codes, which are the IPCRs, but the ones that are compulsory are the CPCs, so I never use the IPCRs. Top owners, I don't quite like this part either, because the owners, the difference between the applicants and the owners is that some applicants, license their technologies or are acquired by others, and the ones that get public or are notified, they go to owners. But not all the acquisitions, not all the licenses are notified, so here we will be missing many things. So we don't quite like this. The agents and attorneys, this can be interesting because sometimes we are presented with a completely new technology, and we don't know who can make the best patent, and then we will go to the usual company that we work the patents with, but they might not be the best. This is a way to see which are the companies, the patent offices, like the patent firms or the IP firms that are patenting the most in a specific field, which will make things easier in that sense. We can contact them. Some, Hoffman, for example, is very well known here in Europe, but some you might not know them, and then when you click on them and you see their patents, you will see that they just work for one company, because they might have a very specific arrangement in that field. I don't recommend you contacting them for doing your patent, because most likely they won't. But you can try, okay? Okay, and this is very important, the top inventors. We will be looking at this later, but I wanted to show you because it happens a lot that we find a company, for example, this Leica, for example. And we want to contact them regarding their control system for microscopy image, or their whatever we were looking for here. And then you enter in LinkedIn, but the vast majority of LinkedIn profiles are not technical, are marketing or business related. But you want to talk with the technical people that have developed that, because in the end, for a TRL 3 or 4 level technology, the technical department will be the one that needs to be assessing that first. And you don't know how can you find that person. So this is a very good tool as well, because I come here to Leica or to Carl Zeiss. Let's go to Carl Zeiss, for example. I click here, and then I am filtering the specific results in this classification code of Carl Zeiss, which are 556 patents. I can see here, I could just, for example, I could just filter for the last years, but let's go with what we have. And they come to top inventors. Here, my friends, I have the research and development team for that specific part in Carl Zeiss. Perhaps the first is not the one I'm looking for, or the second is not, but here I will be able to find all technical people related to this sort of invention in that specific company. And I don't mind if they are or they are not in LinkedIn. Many researchers are not in LinkedIn because it's not their social media of preference. They don't use LinkedIn at all. So Daniel Hasse, for example. This was Carl Zeiss. I can try to find these people and see. Well, this is in the USPTO, but as you can see, I can see that he works there. Whatever this means, I don't speak German, but probably this person, look at here, have 88 patents in that field. Probably he will be either a lead engineer, a lead researcher, the VP of research and development. He will be a very important person to contact in that specific field. How can I use this for key opinion leader search? I don't mind if they are, imagine that I'm a university and I want to have an event on microscopy. And I want to know who is the most relevant speakers or who's the most relevant scientist in that field in the industry. Because if I look for publications, it will be very straightforward. I know how to do that already. But this is how to search into industry. Okay? You following me so far? Okay, Esther. Bear with me. Just less than an hour left, and you'll be free to roam in Valencia and have a sangria or whatever. So let's keep with this. Okay, and here are the most relevant and the most cited patents. These are, because as you know, not all patents are the same. Some patents are very, very important for the field, and usually those are cited the most. And that's a very, very, very small percentage. So you might have a company that have 1,000 patents, and then you have a company that have 50 or 55, but the citations of those 55 are much more than the one that win 1,000 patents in the field, which means that probably these 55 patents will be much more relevant for the field than the other 1,000, because there might be many families or whatnot. So here we have this final table, final graph, in which you can see the relevant, if it's patented, if it's pending, if it is discontinued, if it expired, or whatever. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. You still with me? No ambulance here yet. We're good. Let's continue. So I showed you the first tool, which is Lens. Is the heaviest tool, please forgive me, but now you know it. Now you can use it. I am not going to show you how to use it further, because in the end is how to eliminate as much noise as possible, which I have already showed you, because structured search, title, abstract, and claims, and then use the CPCs. 95% of the work has been done. Now is you using it. That's the most important part, because this tool have a quite stiff learning curve, because you need to use it quite a lot to understand it. But it gives you a lot of information that is very reliable to cite. You can cite this information in a public procurement, in whatever you want to cite, because this is public patent data. Okay, you can cite it very, it's quite safe to cite. Okay, I'm going to show you, regarding Lens, another thing that usually you appreciate is, we've been working with patents. You might not be very used to patents. You might, but you may not as well. So I am going to be showing it for scholarly works. Scholarly works are publications, scientific publications. Do we search here? No, we never. We're going to be very structured people, and we will do a structured search. The difference, as I said before, is that later with the patents we were mainly looking for companies. Now we are looking for institutions, for consortia, for looking for other researchers that are working in the same field as I am working. These sort of things, right? This is something sometimes for research groups in universities. This part of the tool is usually even more relevant than the patent part. And here we can do whatever search we want. Let's say, for example, additive manufacturing, okay? You don't need to put the quotation marks all the time, just when it's, it's a wording that requires them. Because if I put additive and manufacturing, it's going to be searching additive and manufacturing separately, and we will have thousands of unrelated patents. That's the way you have to, or unrelated publications here. So we hit search, 142,000 results. That's fine. We are going, so here I have the list, and we are going to analysis. The main difference here, well, you have that prior to 2010, additive manufacturing was not even a thing, and you can have a better idea of the time frame of development of a specific technology. And you can see how these technologies develop, because additive manufacturing was very, very trending, very trending. It was completely a breakthrough in industry. And you can see what is called the S curve, in which you don't have pretty much nothing, then you have super stiff a super stiff increase in patents or publications, and then you have the end of the S, the plateau, in which that technology is pretty much over in terms of new disruptive developments. Now you will keep developing that at that stage, but you won't be seeing again these sort of peaks. That's how technologies work, and we will do some searches and you will see it with your own eyes. So what are we seeing now? Universities, research institutions, research centers, there's no companies here. And this is interesting because we can search for specific institutions in specific countries. And perhaps imagine that I don't really care what they're doing in the US or in NASA, because it's not my market, or I'm not looking for a consortia there. Perhaps I'm looking for a consortium in Kazakhstan, and then I can search for Kazakhstani companies here. Or perhaps I'm looking for European institutions. So I will come to here to this part, institution, country, and region. This is not in the slides. So if you want to remember this, I recommend you to write it down. We will go to load more. Here we have the different countries that appear. And then we have the groupings. And one of the groupings is European Union. And then we click here, and it will filter just for the European institutions. It might appear somewhere there some US institution or whatever, because they might have co-developments or co-publications with other European groups. But 99% of the things we will get here will be European. And this way, imagine that I'm interested, for example, in I don't know, in the Fraunhofer, in Karlsruhe Institute of Technology, the KIT, on Fraunhofer. I could click on them and just look for their specific groups. I have here the most active authors, and the most active authors, again, key opinion leaders in the research field, and people that I can search for their research groups directly. If I'm interested in, I don't know, for example, in the university, in the Polytechnic of Milano, I click here, and I can navigate their groups related to additive manufacturing. Which collaborations, which research collaborations do they have? Very important. With whom are they publishing these papers? And who's the most prolific scientist in this field in the Polytechnic of Milano? And here I have Bianca Maria Colosimo. And the second and the third, and I can see how they work. Usually are the same group. The ones I will see with the same publications usually are the ones that are collaborating in the same group. But I can find the IPs because I want to contact them. In the end, this is about a commercial relation or a transfer relation, so I can contact them directly. You see where this is going? Here we can see, again, citations and important stuff, the fields of study and which journals are the most important. But this is not something we usually use because that's not related to what we do. All right. So we have, we have very useful information that we can extract from this database. Here we have the different ways of doing the searches, and I want you to, I have a specific exercise. I don't think you will be able to do the exercise because this setting is not very prone to working together, but I will do it. And this is the first way of finding, this is the first stop I usually take when I'm identifying companies. If I'm in a technical field, I will look for the companies that are most active patenting, because those, I am sure 100% that they have a research and development department. Many of the companies we see, and we will see later with another technique, don't even have research and development departments because they acquire already developed technologies. Are they interesting for technology transfer? Usually no, because we are usually giving a to be developed technology. We are usually giving them a seed that they need to sprout, okay? So, identify the top 5 European and American companies currently most relevant in patenting within the field of treatments for atopic dermatitis. And this is as simple. Of course, you can ask it to the AI, but the AI will look at the very, very shallow level. Here we are going deep into a search of research and development and innovation. So, very easy, and you will see how fast we can do this. We go here, is patents, we don't search here, we go for the structured search, and then we will do title, abstract, and claims, and we will do a topic, dermatitis, enter. I don't even need it to load, I will go directly to analysis. Here I can see how the atopic dermatitis have been evolving in terms of interest for the industry. I can see how much they have been investing in their R&D in that specific field. I could just download it as a PNG or download the data as a CSV for Excel or whatever and plot my own graphs or whatever I want. And then I come here and I see Regeneron Pharma, Novartis, Pfizer, Genentech. All these companies I know they are working actively in atopic dermatitis. If I want it, and later we will do, if I want it to be curated, I want to curate this list, I will use AI. But I am giving the AI the companies I want it to look for. I am not giving it free will to search for the easiest things. I want them to look for specific developments they have in a specific field in these specific companies. I am giving them the source. And we will see that later. So you can see, but yes, I am a human for what I see. Okay, yeah, of course. So here again, we have US, international patents, European patents, Korea. In this case, we don't have China. Actually, we don't have China at all. China is a very small part. They don't have that problem, apparently, of atopic dermatitis. So, what are we? The next thing I usually look for to see if my search has been good is the CPCs, and I see drugs for dermatological disorders, non-central analgesic, antipyretic, or anti-inflammatory agents. In the end, atopic dermatitis can be an inflammatory disease, and allergic agents, anti-allergic agents, and anti-asthmatics agents, ophthalmic anti-allergics. Why? Because usually you get atopic dermatitis when you have allergic reactions. So it makes sense. I see that I have the antipruritics as well, antineoplastic. Perhaps these are not relevant for me, or I want just to focus on drugs, or in immunomodulators, or in joint disorders, because those are also related to autoimmune disorders. Whatever, I can keep digging. In the end, this gives you a thread that you can keep pulling and find all the information you are, that might be interesting for you. In this case, for example, drugs for dermatological disorders, I can come here, filter my search, and then I will just have atopic dermatitis. In this case, it's giving me an OR. I don't want an OR here, so I can just edit the search, and rather than an OR, give it an AND. Delete this, title, abstract, and claims, and search. And then it's going to the ones that are most relevant for me. I can see how this stopped during from 2012 to 2019. The interest was lower, and after 2019, it grew again, for whatever reason. That's the things I asked to the AI. Why? What happened here? Was it the COVID? Was it more difficulty in a regulatory stage or whatever? Something changed for atopic dermatitis that I was not aware of. Perhaps it's a very relevant patent that lost the got expired, whatever could be. And here I have again the companies. In this case, I could just download all this company list, and we will work with it later. But I will show you later. So you can see how fast we can do a very, very thorough search of companies that are actually relevant for us. Okay, these are the parts of the exercise that we did. Here we have the solution. Okay, active in the last 5 years, for example, because we have here like a historic, but I could just filter and see the ones since 2021 to see which companies are the most active lately. And here I can still see Regeneron, but I see now another company that I was not looking before, which is Intervet, which is very relevant, and perhaps I missed it before because it was over 20 years of combined data. This is how we use this, okay? There's not much mystery, it's just some work, how, to get a bit more natural when working with this sort of complex databases. But the database is for free. You can use it whenever you arrive home or whatever. So, yeah. Yeah, this is the exercise. We don't have much time, so let's go to the next point. We're going to find more companies, but this time we're not using Lens or patents, we're just using Google. How do we find properly companies using Google? Not just companies, but before I was having a conversation with one of you that is sometimes asking for research grants. And as you know, research grants now have pretty much always a part for technology transfer, valorization, market analysis, and so on. How can I find this market data fast and reliably? This is very easy as well, at least for research institution level, right? For a low TRL, in something we just need big numbers, and at least show them that we did our homework, right? So I'm going to be showing you how to do it very fast. So we come to Google, and this is not in the slide, so this is just one word. But with this word, let's understand it as a command. With this command, Google will just give me research reports. Market reports, sorry. This is very straightforward, and we are just going to use quotation mark, CAGR quotation mark. And here we can put whatever we want. Atopic dermatitis, I don't care. I can put whatever. Every single result I have is going to be a market report. Every single one. Because CAGR, it's a word we just use in market analysis and market reports, which is the compound annual growth rate. This is something you only use for market analysis and market quantification. Therefore, if you do quotations CAGR, all the results will just be there. Will just be market analysis reports. We can enter here and we can find all that information. And sometimes it happens, and it might happen to you, that you say, okay, but Grandview Research is giving me 17.64 billion, but if I enter in Modern Intelligence, it's giving me 20 billion. Which one should I trust? None, okay? These are made in India, using random data. This is just, for you to understand, this is just a magnitude, an order of magnitude level that we need to understand the size of the market. We don't need to follow or believe blindly what it says. We just have to understand the average size. And for that, we can just use the AI tools, and rather than take one report, feed the AI with 10 reports and tell them to collect the trends in those 10 reports. This way, you are not focusing just on one. You are telling what market analysis in general is telling you. Following me? You good? You're still with me? Okay, we're almost there. Please bear with me, it's fine. So one of the things these market analysis, the free samples have, is a list of companies. You usually have to go down and then you will find the most relevant companies in the field according to the market analysis reports. All of them have them. You know, I come to Yahoo Finance or whatever, right? This Yahoo Finance one. Perhaps the Yahoo Finance is the one that. So here we have some companies here, or the Modern Intelligence one. We usually have a good visual here with also the companies, but I can find the list of the companies that are being analyzed. the list of the companies is here in this sense. So I can find another list of companies using this, and usually using these market reports, I will be able to find perhaps 15, but the 15 biggest companies. They don't need to have research and development. They usually will do, have research and development departments, but they will be the biggest companies in that specific market. Okay, so yeah, this market study is very easy. So we are going to be combining those sources of data, which is reliable data and easy to find data, with AI. Because if I just go to AI, the AI is very lazy. In the end, as you know, AI have this, how is it called, this big processing, it's data centers, right? And they don't want to be overexpending there. So AI is very compliant, but is very, very, very lazy. So if they can give you a 2% of their power, they will be giving you 2% of their power. And the easiest way to deal and talk with AI is making things easier for them. When we understand AI, or what we understand of AI, usually is called LLMs. Have you heard of LLMs? You are aware of LLM? LLM means large language model. It means a robot that can speak, okay, pretty much. It's a model trained with one thing called tokens. We understand words, or what's it called, letters. They understand tokens. And they use these tokens to train statistical models. So these statistical models are trained with millions and millions of conversations, and they will, based on an input, break it into numbers, into tokens that have a specific value, and try to predict what you will accept, not what will be right. What you won't be saying, oh, no, I don't like this, change whatever. They don't like that. They hate that. So they will be trying to be as compliant as they can. And they will be giving you something that you will be accepting, so their processing power can be saved. That's how they work. And it's very smart, right? They don't want you to be, so that's why they are so compliant, and that's why they are all the time, yes, you were right, because blah, blah, and they invent a completely new thing. So usually what they do is to calculate the probability of the next word based on the tokens. And they just give you a set of tokens that have a percentage of being accepted based on their database. That's how they work, pretty much. So this allows for what is called hallucinations. You may have heard of the term hallucination. Hallucinating means inventing things. Things that obviously are not right. The AI will give it, pretending it's right, because it's what the model tells it will be most accepted in the conversation. So in order for us to work with AI, we have to limit the hallucinations, because the hallucinations are the noise we're getting in these conversations. Oh my God. We good? Yeah. Okay. So I am going to show you how to eliminate the hallucinations using AI tools, which is very easy, because if we want to pretty much eliminate hallucinations, the easiest way will be to provide the source. Understand the AI tool as it is, a virtual assistant, not the demigod that will do pretty much anything we ask for, because that's not. It will, perhaps, but not now. We have to understand it as a competent assistant that will do the things that usually take a lot of time, but are easy to do. Okay, so as I put here, generative AIs are designed to sound convincing, so you accept the response and don't talk back. Because the more you talk, the more tokens they are using. So if you don't talk back, it's best for them. They understand that they're in the right, and they keep rolling. So if we want to work with an AI, first we have to understand it's a virtual assistant, and second, we're going to give always the source, the specific direction, a very specific instruction, and the way we want it to display it, the way we want the outcome. If it's a table, if it's an image, if it's whatever, how we want it. This way is the way we always do the prompts and work like a charm. And you will see now some very specific examples. So here I wanted to separate, because when I work with researchers, they understand LLMs or AI as a concept that includes every type of different tool. And as you see, we have the conversation models, which are the LLMs, in which we have ChatGPT, we have SET, we have Gemini. Perplexity is a mix that I will show you later. We have Copilot, Mistral, Claude, all these that are trained to speak, sort of. But then we have the research AI tools, the ones that are meant for not hallucinating, the ones that are meant to every single thing they say must be backed with a specific source, because they are not conversation assistants, they are research assistants, and they understand that they cannot be hallucinating when writing an article. So you have specific tools for research. That's something eye-opening for some researchers sometimes, but this is important because they won't work the same. So again, you will be having this thing. So here I put this link. This link is a really interesting one, because you can see the comparison of models, and this is, I think it's updated daily or weekly, and you can see the models by intelligence, output speed, latency, price, context, whatever, and you can see how are they evolving all the time. This is a conversation we had some minutes ago during the coffee break, on the lunch break, because this is evolving so fast, you'd never know which AI tool you have to use. But with this web page, you can all the time see which one is the most expensive or the cheapest. For example, you can see that price per million tokens. The most expensive is ChatGPT, and followed by Cloud, followed by Gemini, which are the most popular. But in intelligence, you have a bunch that are pretty much the same or similar, and I'm going to be using and showing you this one, the GLM 5.1, because this is completely free, and as you can see, competes with the paid version of the others. So you don't need to be using the free version of the others, because the free version of the others sucks. And you all know, because you will use it and hallucinates a lot, and it cuts you in the things you're working with. So you can see here, it's a very, very complete database in which you can see all the benchmarks and everything. So I invite you to be using this every now and then to see how they are evolving, okay? All right, okay. So, as I said, and the only reason I am showing you this set.ai is because I told you I was going to be showing you free of use tools. So many of you their institution is not buying the AI tool you want, and you have to pay it for yourself. SET is very competent. It's not very fast. It's slower than ChatGPT, but their servers are much more available than the ones in ChatGPT or Claude. So when you ask for something, it's a bit less lazy. If you give 10 links, it will go one after the other. It won't stop in link 3 to start drafting conclusions that ChatGPT does. Okay, and this is important because it's completely free. It's Chinese. No confidential information here. It won't be yours anymore. Please bear in mind. But it's for free. Okay. So we will be using this tool in the next exercises. Wow. Okay. So other than that, I included some. Other than that, I included some other links that are interesting for you to check out. So here, for example, we have a list of different AI tools for different things. So we have global LLMs, Chinese LLMs, search, things used for doing research, image generators, video generators, you know, when you're scrolling and then a random video of a cat playing the guitar appears, those are the ones that are responsible for that. but you also have music, voice generators, AI agent generators. You have here all the, no, it's not an extensive list, but it's a good list to have, right? Because sometimes you want to at least know which tools you can be using for what. I will be showing you this app as well, which is Napkin. Napkin is pretty cool because it allows you to visualize things very fast. And this is not 100% free. It's a freemium model. I believe I have it open somewhere. There we go. So, for example, I have here this, and I click here. This you just put the text, and it will create visualizations based on the text. For doing a quick poster, for doing a presentation, for doing a technology offer, for doing, for example, a conference poster or a conference agenda. It's a cool way to visualize it fast. You can export it. You can export it in PowerPoint. I'm not paying for this. This is the free version, so you can see the same as I am seeing. And it's pretty cool because the free version allows you for some quiet tokens. You can visualize, I don't know if 5 or 10 or 15 images per week. And usually that's enough because usually we use this in a very specific, for a very, very precise thing. So you can see here, for this modelo de predicción de la calidad del aire, which is the prediction model for air quality, you can see the thing it creates. You can change whatever you want, add more steps, or remove steps, or change the order, or whatever. Or you can just paste it, put the PDF. It will extract the text of the PDF and give you some examples of visualizations. This is fast. This is free. We use it sometimes, and I encourage you to use it because it's a pretty good tool. Napkin is not paying for this, so there's others I know. For example, Canva can do that as well, but I am not that used to Canva, and I know, for what I know, is not as fast and as intuitive as this one is. This one is for lazy people, like company people that don't have much time to invest, and I told you that we were trying to achieve the maximum level of quality with the least amount of time. This is the sort of tool that we like, all right? And we can, I mean, for example, here we had some patents. I could get one of these patents, get the text, the full text. It will be around here, perhaps. Get the full text, paste it in a new napkin. In a moment, we should be having the full text, but we are not having it. Okay, let me search for the patent. Document preview, sign in to download the PDF. I should be able to download it, but apparently I'm not. Okay, whatever, yeah. You can, we don't have that much time, so you get the idea, right? You put the text, you get the images, pretty fast. And then you might remember when the AI was blooming, the prompt engineering. Everyone was crazy about prompts, doing courses about how to do a proper prompt and whatnot. Now the AI is starting to learn a bit how we ask them, and it's adapting. It's what is called logical thinking. AI is understanding the way we ask things, and based on context, it will give you the answer that you won't be asking anything else, right? It will give you the best answer that thinks. But here you have another tool, which is quite nice, which is the prompt cowboy. And this is when you want to have a very complex prompt, but you don't really know quite how to ask or how to do it. So here you put a lazy prompt, and it will create a very sophisticated one. For example, I want to do a market analysis based on free market reports. I will paste the links. It's not well written, but this is what the tool is for, right? I give them that, and it will convert the prompt into something the AI will go through much more thoroughly. And as you can see, I have here the new prompt. This is again, this is a very easy to use tool. It's free for everyone. You can use it. I just put it here. You can use it whenever you want. Okay, so the next and last part I don't think we will arrive to the company the lead identification part, but it's fine. Today I told you it would be a bit dense, but there's a lot of information. I want you to show you this. You can use it whenever you want. So for the commercial dossier, I have this prompt. I pasted the prompt so you can just copy and paste in your projects. But this is based on the format of the photo, and I take a photo, and I will take just a capture of this, one of these. So it takes the format out. It understands which are the different parts, the size, and everything that I am asking for. Based on the format of the photo, so I'm giving it part of the source and reference. Create another commercial dossier for the technology of the provided patent or whatever. Okay, provided patent, provided references, articles, whatever. So I have format and I have the source. I am giving it very little wiggle to add the hallucinations. Use the same sections and length as the template, so I can still be using the template. Give me the text for each section so I can copy it directly into the template. 2 lines. These 2 lines can make a 3-hour work of creating a technology offer into a 15-minute or less, or 12 minutes, or 5 minutes, even if it works properly. Of course, you have to review everything and so on, but it saves you so much time. So this is one example. I won't be combined with Napkin for quick visuals. Easy peasy. Okay, for the application area analysis, I will be showing you some. Create a brief analysis of application areas based on the following CPCs. The number appearing in quotes is the number of patents shown for each CPC. Create a table with the related CPCs, application area or areas, and a brief explanation. So I could take this. I come to set, which is the one that's free, I'm showing you. And with Lens, let me check. In the atopic dermatitis, I'm going to be removing the CPC because if not, we will just have one. We'll go to analysis. Only recommended for under 10 million documents. Of course, sometimes, as everything that is for free, it comes with a price of not working properly. But that's fine. Atopic dermatitis, we do the search, we come to analysis. And the only thing we have to do here is to extract this data, which is very straightforward. And we don't need to work with the format or anything. We can just paste it. That's the magic of LLMs. They will understand even if it has no formatting. So I just take all this, come to set. If you want to paste it in set, you have to put Ctrl-Shift-V, and then it will start doing an application area analysis. That's what AI is good for. I give the source, I give very specific instructions, and I give them what I want it to give me in a very specific formatting, which is create a table with the related CPCs, application area or areas, and a brief explanation. It knows what to give me. And now it will start thinking. And since this one is not as lazy, it will go through every single CPC and give me a table of application areas. And since this is my assistant, I can keep going with other things at the same time. So I will come to company identification and organization from a list. Using the same format, extract from the following links the companies related to. I believe I put the wrong prompt here. But yeah, in any way, I can show you here cosmetic companies because I've already done this exercise many times. And here you can see that I give them a list of companies. Here is the whole exercise. I give them the full list of companies extracted directly from Lens, and I tell them, From the following list of companies, please elaborate a table including just the companies that manufacture or work in products related to these cosmetic natural powders. The table will have the following structure. And it thinks, and it gives me company, link, country of the headquarters, and the description. And this is just a way of visualizing all the things that I found here, but I was too lazy to create an Excel, go company by company, search for the link, identify where is their actual products that are related to atopic dermatitis or whatever. This is the way that we can use the AI for. It will very fast, in a question of minutes, look, for example, the CPC analysis should be done, yeah. In a thing of minutes, it will create these very actionable items regarding application analysis, identification of companies, or whatever you want. For company identification, I showed you we have this example, and you can just keep feeding it with new. You can keep feeding it with new sources of companies, like for example the CAGRs, and here what I did is, using the same format, extract from the following links the companies that have similar products in whatever, and then I pasted them 3, 4, 5, 7 links to market analysis, to market reports. This way it will go through them, because the AI can go way faster through these links than us. It will scan them very fast, extract the companies, search the company, and put it in the table. And that is what takes the most time, because usually finding companies is very easy, very fast, but finding the right company and why this company is right, that's what takes some time. And it's not very specialized work. It's just that you have to enter, you have to scroll in their product line and see if they are still working on that or not, if it's commercial in Europe or not. And that's what the AI can do very, very fast, because in the end it's going through text, and large language models are made to analyze language very fast, way faster than we do. So that's how we have to use simple AI tools for complex things. You know, company identification and organization from a list. Okay, and this is the last part. I know it's a lot of things, but again, this is how to find the right profile, or when we're contacting a company, with whom we have to talk. Usually, and I'm going to be very fast here, we're usually looking for a business development, associate business development person, and a research person. Usually, we're looking for 2 to 3 profiles minimum, and 1 will be business development, and the rest will be research, as research company, research people. The research people, we can use Lens, very straightforward, and for business development, it's very easy to find them on LinkedIn. And for LinkedIn, for doing searches in LinkedIn, you just have a very direct way, which is you enter in LinkedIn, it will enter eventually. You click for you click the company, and you can see directly their employees, and you can do searches within their employees. Okay, that's the way we're going to be searching on LinkedIn, very fast. But again, if it's a small company, CTO, CEO, there's no much. You know, in the end, the decision is going to rely on them. But if we're going to bigger companies, we can go to VPs and senior VPs, vice presidents. Those are 1 from business development and 1 from research and development. Those will be the ones. And if it's a very, very big company, we're trying to find very specific research profiles and business developments that are in that department. Another trick for finding the right people, if we're looking for research and development, we will always go to the headquarters. If it's a company that that is operating in 15 or 20 countries, we are going to look for these profiles in the headquarters. If it's Novartis, for example, we'll look in Basel, because they will be in Basel. They won't be in California doing research. Okay, that's also a very important thing to remember. We are in LinkedIn. We look here for a random company, Curium Pharma, and when we are in the page of the company, we can click here in the number of employees. This will allow us to search for people working in that specific firm. In using this search button, we can just find this, okay? And lastly, the tool I recommend you for finding the emails of these people is a tool called Hunter. Is this one? This is the extension, but you can come to hunter.io, and the extension they have works pretty good. For example, let's see this Curion Pharma. You come here, and with the extension, you can just click here, and it will give you the emails of the people that are publicly listed. Okay? This is very straightforward as well. Usually you just want to understand the formatting of the email, because the rest of the emails will be usually the same, with the same format. And since you are research institutions, they won't be outraged that you are contacting them. Usually it's fine. You know, we contact tens of thousands of people every year, and it's fine. We very, very rarely have complaints in that regard. So I recommend using Hunter because it works quite well, and I'm not even paying it. It gives you 50 searches, I believe, per week, which are a lot. So, of course, you have Rocket Reach, you have Apollo, all that sort of things, but usually the free sample for these platforms is much more limited. And in the end, if you have an email and you want to test it before sending an email, you have these 3 verifiers. I'm going to be showing you, I believe is Hippo verifier. So this will ask the server to you are sending an email if the email is right or wrong. So you don't have to be sending an email to a server that don't work, you know. So here you put vicente@biromi.com, which is my email, and you check it, and it will tell you, okay, because it's good. But I will put barbera@biromi.com, which is my surname @biromi.com. Oh, it's bad. You know, pretty straightforward, right? So this is a way to, mainly for the contacts we have found using Lens, that very rarely will have public emails. Once you have the structure, you can check with the verifier with the same structure, name and surname or whatever, and then you will see if your guess is right, so you can send an email. This takes, again, 1 minute, as you have seen, very straightforward, but at least you have, for everything we have seen, we have a structure, we have companies, we have material to send, we have the profile of the companies, we have specific companies internationally, the people of each company, and their email. And this is about it with the workshop. I don't have more stuff for you today. Hope it's been enough. And this is it. Questions? Can we leave now? Yes, you can. So, oh, sure. Ah, vale, vale. Any question? What do you think? Any feedback? ¿Nos enchufas el micro? Yes, please. Speak loud. I will just.
Thank you so much. There's so much valuable stuff there, like really 5 pages of notes. You mentioned the market research, the Grand View and Mordor intelligence and the markets. And in my mind, I've always said, like, yeah, this is totally unreliable. We can't use it for anything. But you're saying that if you combine them and take the trends, then probably there is some signal there that can be extracted.
Exactly right. So as it happens, I mean, when you work doing your own market analysis, and we develop our own market analysis, market research, we see that many times these big firm reports are very inspecific. And the way we can go through or go around it is trying to find trends that repeat in all of them. Many may be repeating, or some may be repeating, but it's the way to see if they are at least some reliable, or yeah, a little reliable for what we're looking for. And usually they give you like a little thread to keep pulling, because it will give you some hints on regulation. It will give you some hints on the big restraints on the market, and after that you can start searching for actual real reports. But yes, it's a way of, I think it's a good methodology to not rely just on one specific link, and use the AI for what it is, which is combining data, combining text. More questions? Yes.
Ahora sí que va.
Thanks for the talk. A simple question. Do you teach scientists to use the apps or the software, or do you do it for them?
So both. If they have money to hire me, usually it's easier if I do it, for obvious reasons. But sometimes they don't have money to hire external consultants. So, but they do have money for training. So I train them to be competent in this, because in the end, scientists want to invest the minimum amount of time for getting the best results. And these lectures are something I give quite often. Like I might give like 30 or 35 courses on this per year for different institutions, and some that go for big alliances, like in this case not, but sometimes for agronomical companies. And we have 150 people, and they are from different institutions and companies, and they get this. But usually, yeah, if we can offer it and they can finance it with a project or whatever, they hire us. If they don't, but they have training budget, then we just give them, give them access on how to do it for themselves. No, we usually give this to research institutions, mainly researchers and the TTO personnel. This is the most, today you saw, I would say, everything we teach in a very condensed way. But sometimes we give a lecture on lens use or on AI tools, and then we spend there 3 hours working with these. We have different exercises and so on.
Okay, I think this has been.
Go ahead.
Oh, excuse me.
Sorry, just want to say, yesterday we had a very interesting talk on a framework that maybe you're familiar with, lean.
The lean methodology. Yeah.
Like this quick iterations.
Mm-hmm.
Incorporate that into how you approach.
So yeah, we're very lean. That's why we do all the contacting, because in the end you want to verify and validate your idea. And lean methodology is the cornerstone for at least for our approach to technology transfer. We don't want to be over-developing something that has not been validated in the market. So yeah, it's very related. All right. Good.
No more questions.
More questions.
Yeah. So
I think people is a bit tired
Yeah,
of
very
me
tired.
already. I would suggest to close.
sure, but yeah, we got this is very rough inside. I mean, very dense.
Yeah.
But maybe we have the occasion of listening to you in a longer session,
Yeah,
and
hopefully.
deepen, in what we saw in a very rough view. But thank you very much, Vicente Barbera, Viromi. You said you can send the.
I can send you the
presentation,
yes,
so,
or to Andres.
Pablo.
Pablo. Sorry.
Okay. So
And I can send all the information, and feel free to contact me for any question. I won't be charging you if you contact me. We can talk about this. It's completely, feel completely free. I'm a very direct person, so if I see that your idea is good, I will tell you, and if I see the idea is not very good, I will also tell you. So feel free to validate with me or Viromi or anyone that works in our firm.
thank you.
Thank you very much for having me here. All right.